Well, it's acutely historic because in the past, the Arab world, particularly the Sunni Arab world, and this is a key aspect of this, has, if not declaring the Jewish state an enemy, with the exception, of course, of Jordan and Egypt, both of whom, of course, have been literally locked horns with Israel in the past, but have peace deals. The rest of the Arab world has made any kind of normalization of relations with the Palestinians absolutely critical upon the Israeli agreement to establish an independent, viable Palestinian state living in peace side by side with Israel. Now, that has been the principle of the Oslo Accords. It was also, above all, the principle of the Arab proposal put through or authored essentially by Saudi Arabia now more than a decade and a half ago, that has really underpinned the official position of the Arab world. But what's been going on in the meantime is that in any case, for many of the Gulf monarchies in the Arab world, the Palestinians have been a useful external issue to project interest about what might be going on internally, externally. If you like, Palestinian support for the Palestinian cause was rhetorical, not real. And now that there are new generations of leaders, particularly Western educated leaders, sophisticated people in the Middle East and in the Gulf nations, they, from their perspective, see greater advantage in a much closer strategic relationship, both with the United States and Israel, when it comes to Iran. And it is Iran that they perceive to be the single biggest threat. And simultaneously with that, they see the Palestinian leadership, not unlike many Palestinians themselves, as feckless, corrupt, geriatric, completely lacking in ideas and even any kind of leadership energy, simply trotting out standard objections to maneuvers carried out by the Israelis. Now, the Palestinian street has had no voice in the construction of this deal, nor in the so-called deal of the century, and it does remain to be seen the extent to which the Arab street more widely will welcome normalization with Israel, be indifferent to it, or react in a potentially violent way to it. And of course, amidst all of this, who's likely to gain in the strategic sphere? Well, that's likely to be Iran, because it is the Iranians, through their kind of doctrine of resistance, who've championed the Palestinian cause, although they're a Shia country, the Palestinians predominantly Sunni Muslims, but they're already influential in the Gaza Strip.